Today, we're going to have a little discussion about the billionaire class. And we're not going to have a little discussion about the usual crop of billionaires that you like to think about, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk. And I just want to make it clear right now, I believe that those guys all suck. I believe there's nothing really good that they add aside from maybe the technology and that they've created. And even then, it's been bastardized and pretty much sold upstream to Satan. I believe most billionaires are bad. I don't think that's a controversial thought. I don't believe that's something that most people would agree with me on. I don't think that there's anything good that comes from any one individual having more money than a small country. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it really does anything for us as a globe. And I think that all of our money being hoarded by one very small group of oligarchs is it's just a bad look. But I'm really not trying to talk about those crops of billionaires today, although they are pretty shitty. I wanted to talk about another group, another class of billionaire that I don't really see get as much criticism as they should, at least not from person of color communities. Now, I am not going to try to talk about any Latino billionaires. I'm not going to try to talk about any Asian billionaires or anything like that. I'm going to mainly focus on my own community, my own culture. I am going to talk about Black billionaires. You see, because I want to take a little time, I want to have this discussion because I really have a hard time understanding how it is that all of these Black billionaires tend to escape criticism and just for some reason end up being championed so hard by us as a community. Because I think we need to take a look at and really talk about why it is that we understand at this point and we know that we are held down by a system of late stage capitalism that really does nothing for us and just props us up and positions us as the eternal losers or less thans. So why is it that we just love to celebrate these niggas who have maneuvered and played the game well enough and leveraged their connection and their connection with us as a community to become billionaires, to reach that capitalist gain? Why is it that we end up bigging them up and not really seeing that all they've done is shown that they're just like the rest of them? We're gonna have that discussion more because it's been irking at me, and we're gonna have that discussion first off by talking about MJ. Now, MJ is the inspiration for this episode. He is the main reason why I really wanted to start having this discussion. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, who don't know who it is by me just saying MJ, I'm going to just make it clear. I'm talking about Michael fucking Jordan. Greatest basketball player of all time, Chicago Bulls legend, won 6 championships, 2 three-peats. He is a legend. He is everything to the game of basketball. And I can understand only knowing him for the shoes as well, because Jordan shoes is pretty damn big as well. That Jumpman logo, either way, you know what it is. Now, for everyone who is somewhat unfamiliar, who is not keeping up with Michael Jordan's just endeavors and news, I'll be honest with you, I really don't. But he owns a NASCAR team now. He owns one of the race car teams, and they recently won a race. They won the Daytona 5. I'm gonna be quite frank with you, I am not entirely familiar with NASCAR, so I don't know. I know that's an important race. I know it's the most notable one. It's the one you hear the most about, but I don't know shit about if it's a championship race or anything like that. And so I can just tell you that he was excited, he was happy, and when they won this race, his driver, Kyle Trask, I believe is his name, they were in good spirits, and Michael Jordan was, he was feeling himself. That's not a big deal. He's doing his thing with NASCAR. That's cool, but the controversy came with the way he chose to celebrate. It ended up going viral, but a clip came out of him just playing around with Kyle Trask's son, just getting real close to him and, patting him on the butt just a couple of times, just real hard, just sort of forceful. And listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I've never really played organized sports on a real team. I don't know how them locker rooms be, so I'm not going to try to say that maybe. And I admit right now, I feel like I'm trying to give this nigga out because it's Michael Jordan. I gave you all the rundown of who he is for a reason. He means a lot to me personally, just because he was the biggest basketball player in my city, other than D Rose. But it just looked weird. It looked real bad, and it had a lot of motherfuckers looking at Michael Jordan sideways and just being like, damn, what's going on with this? And me personally, I understand why a lot of people would just like that would be the record scratch moment, like what the hell, just stop, what the hell. But for me, and I'm gonna be quite frank with you, I already knew that Michael Jordan was an asshole. I can talk about the Billionaire story. It is well noted and well acknowledged that Michael Jordan is not the type of motherfucker that like they say never meet your heroes, especially somebody like Michael Jordan. If you don't meet him when he doesn't feel like talking to you or being around you, he will probably be a dickhead and an asshole. So I'm not shocked by that. But the reason why I'm not even shocked by him being weird with the kids, and I'll just say it like that, is that when you become a billionaire, when you start to obtain that level of wealth, when you are in certain rooms with certain people and things of that nature, I start to just feel like that is just you. I believe you have to give up a certain piece of your humanity, to become a billionaire. I look at the way that people that have that type of money move, the way that they normally have to obtain their wealth. I feel like it's a very big notion for most billionaires that they have no real problem exploiting people underneath them. They have no problem stepping on the little guy. They have no problem doing what they have to do to ensure that they come out on top. That's how they start out their business empires, and that's how they grow and cultivate them. It doesn't make them, well, yeah, it does sort of make you a bad person in a lot of ways, depending on, because nothing I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say these as virtuous attributes. I'm trying to say that these are people who don't really have moral compasses. And I'm not going to try to say that I think Michael Jordan started out that way, but then again, I don't think, I'm not really sure that most of them, I don't necessarily believe that a lot of people are born evil, but when you just throw a lot of unchecked power and control and influence on any person, it can corrupt you. And that's just sort of what I believe might be happening with MJ, because I don't know. He's been moving weird. He's always been an asshole. And then again, I bring up the Billionaire story just to talk about it again. This is the same guy that said, I don't want no niggas around me. So Michael Jordan has already had this elitist attitude. He's already shown himself to be a little weird. Why is everybody acting surprised? He's a billionaire. He's probably only been around billionaire-ass people, and we now see what the billionaire elite are doing. So that's all I got to say about him. Now, somebody else that I wanted to bring up, actually, not even just one person. I just want to bring up two real big, important entertainment titans in the industry. I want to bring up two people who are two of the biggest, most influential celebrities, entertainers, period, of my generation when I was growing up and coming up. And I'm talking about Jay-Z, and I'm talking about Rihanna. Now, entertainers are, in my opinion, just like athletes, they're not really people that I would like to think of as the most culpable when it comes to their choices and the things that they do. And I don't necessarily want to make it seem like I'm trying to be too harsh on them. LeBron James, I'll just say him because he's also someone who's become a billionaire thanks to his athletic talent. Jordan, Jay-Z, Rihanna. I'm not going to try to sit here and demonize these people. I'm not going to try to do that. I just want us to be real, and I want us to be honest about the fact that just looking at Jay-Z, how do we think that he was able to get where he is, and how do we feel about him being the way that he is? This is the same man, Jay-Z, who is like, motherfuckers have already called him out. He only smiles in pictures with other billionaires, with these white guys and everything like that, with people who have as much money as him. You don't see Jay-Z just happy to be there when he's around motherfuckers who are like, I see so many people who look at him as this beacon, as this source of inspiration. You got a guy who motherfuckers would talk about they would rather have a dinner with Jay-Z over $500,000. Like that again, that was a very big popular little Twitter topic, and there was a lot of motherfuckers who would really be sitting there trying to argue about why that dinner with Jay-Z was going to go so much farther and be worth so much more. And again, not trying to demonize the guy, not trying to make him seem like the worst, but Jay-Z's already told us who he is, and he hasn't made no qualms about it. He's not a businessman. He is a businessman, and he moves accordingly. He moves like it. We look at the way that the shit ended up working out with Colin Kaepernick. You know, Colin Kaepernick was, and it was a lot deeper. There was a lot more that went into it. So I'm not gonna just try to say he was just blackballed from the start and everything. But that man ended up getting blackballed out of the league. It was some bullshit, and they just didn't want to deal with him because he was trying to take a stand. There was so much subpar quarterback play going on. It was clear as day. Everybody saw it, and it was just bullshit. But it happened, and in the moment, everybody was supporting him. Everybody was trying to say the right things. You had people like Jay-Z coming out and supporting him. And then after all the times he supported him, what does Jay-Z go and do? The man goes and gets buddy-buddy with the NFL. You see him taking pictures of Roger Goodell. It's got people with Colin Kaepernick's camp calling him out, trying to say, like, what the fuck is this? What is he doing? And it's that type of stuff, man. It's just Jay-Z is the perfect example of somebody who he's going to leverage his connection to us. It's like I was saying earlier. He's going to leverage that the fact that he's Hova to us, and he's going to use that when it's useful to him. He's going to use that to leverage himself and get himself in these good in these good graces, in these viewpoints. But when the time comes, if he has to sell us out, he will, if it's going to benefit him in the long run. Because, and this is a big thing that I'm going to come back to, at the end of the day, it is not about empowering all of us. It is about maintaining their position. And I'm not going to sit there and try to say that I think I would do, that I'd be sitting there sacrificing everything, just going to bat for people at the end of the day. But these motherfuckers have made it clear that they're only about them when it comes to it. Like, Jay-Z is about him. He's making sure his kids are good. Beyonce's straight. Other than that, I'm not really sure he gives a fuck about black empowerment, about all that other shit. Now, Rihanna, I'm not going to try to make it seem like I think that Rihanna doesn't do a lot, or that she doesn't do anything. But again, she's already been able to make a billionaire status off of Fenty, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I know all the stuff that goes into making beauty products and everything like that in the lingerie. But it's like I said before, and I'm really just like, I can't say too much about Rihanna because I don't really have too much bad to say about her. Same thing like I said with Hov. I just want us to really think about why. Why is it good for us that Rihanna has $1 billion? Why is it good for us that she's been able to do that? What does that really do? Especially when this is the same person, Rihanna, who went viral back in the day when Twitter was still super early, for just talking down on a girl for being broke and not having as much money as her, like she wasn't a broke fucking island girl from Barbados. It goes back to how I say that money changes motherfuckers. And it makes them act different. But, and I'll repeat this just one last time, I don't expect too much of Jay-Z and Rihanna. They're entertainers that were able to explode and make a better life for themselves out of the music business, which is already just a industry of exploitation and just the worst type of scum, just being predatory to artists, to young artists that don't know any better. So I don't necessarily want to say that I think that they are the worst examples of just billionaire glaze. No, that goes to somebody else. That goes to someone else that I see get a lot of praise, that I see get spoken so highly of. But I am just, honestly, I've never been the biggest fan. I've never really just seen any of the hype. I watched some of his movies, but it just didn't do it for me. I'm talking about Tyler Perry. We're going to start this part by just coming out and saying it. Tyler Perry deserves criticism. He deserves flack for a lot of shit. But one thing that doesn't necessarily overly irk me about him is him doing the whole Madea bit. I see a lot of motherfuckers who try to come out and criticize him, and this is something that I had pointed out to me earlier, and just one of the big reasons why Tyler Perry criticism always falls flat, I feel like, is that people focus on the wrong things when it comes to the man. You got so many people who just try to focus on him dressing like Madea and just the whole low-hanging fruit, oh, that must mean he's gay or this or that, and that's just some stupid, like, overly homophobic, just toxic masculinity bullshit that just needs to be deaded. Because Tyler Perry deserves criticism for a whole lot of different shit. He deserves criticism for a whole lot of other issues that he has. And he is, in my opinion, the biggest example of just why black billionaires should not ever be seen or championed or looked at as just being like, yeah, that's what we all trying to get at. Because he is the example of what it means to really get to that level of wealth, and just why any one person who even wants to centralize that much of it within himself is just bad. Now, I'm gonna come out and just say it first things first. Tyler Perry deserves credit for what he's been able to accomplish in his career. For him to go from just being a show writer, from him being a playwright who took a majority black fan base, like his demographic that he appeals to, that he makes stuff for, he makes it for black church-going women. And for him to be able to parlay that into a billion-dollar empire, I don't want to discredit that. I don't want to say that that is just something to scoff at. Him being able to do what he's done is amazing. It's cool. It's great. Him having his own studio, like his own film studio, like in a big one at that, down like in Atlanta. Him being able to operate outside of the Hollywood system the way he does and just do his own thing. These are all things that he deserves to be remembered for, that he deserves to be given a round of applause, because he's done a lot for himself. And I'm going to repeat that again. He's done a lot for himself. Now, Tyler Perry has come out and said before that what he likes to think of himself as doing as, instead of other people who were just sitting around looking mad because they couldn't get a seat at the table, he went in and created his own table. And it sounds nice when you say it that way, and he really did create his own table. So I do want to, again, I'm going to applaud him. That's cool that he did that. My big question is, in the long run, who really has benefited from the table that Tyler Perry has set other than Tyler Perry? What other black creatives have been able to really go in and show what they can do outside the Hollywood system shackles thanks to Tyler Perry? Did Ryan Coogler have to not jump through any hoops to get Sinners made, or was he able to just go to Tyler Perry? Was he able to go and make the movie for Four Colored Girls? Originally, was that him who was going to be directing it, or did he steal that from a black woman? Short answer is yes. I was trying to, that's a little hint. And then, last but not least, for someone like Tyler Perry, who is championed for being a champion and supporter of black women, why is it that the most notable thing that I can think of him doing to or for another actor or actress was blackballing Monique, something of which he has yet to apologize for? And I'm just talking about the things that he's done. I'm not going to really talk about all of the shit that I just have found just wrong about his movies and the way he portrays just black people. I actually literally, and I was inspired to add Tyler Perry to this topic because one of my favorite YouTubers, his name is FD Signifier, he recently did a 4-hour video on Tyler Perry. It's really fucking good. I'm gonna leave y'all a link in the description of this episode. I understand, like I said, it's 4 hours. I'm not expecting you to watch all of that in one go, but it's got like scenes selected in the YouTube video. If you ever find some time, watch it. It's very good. He's a great YouTuber. He does good video SOs. My thing about Tyler Perry is that I don't really like the idea of him being given all of this love and admiration, because at the end of the day, how is he any different from any of these other billionaires, from any of these other motherfuckers who is really just in it for himself, whose ego and everything is so out of control that they just feel like they can do whatever they want and that they deserve to have all that power? Why is it that we just brush him like blackballing Monique all because they wanted her to do some uncontracted work under the rug? Why is it that he's able to get away with that? I'm not trying to tell anybody to not like Tyler Perry's movies. I'm not trying to tell you to just think that he is the scum of the earth or anything like that. He deserves credit for what he has accomplished. I'm going to repeat that again because it is some real true shit. And at the end of the day, he deserves to be admired for overcoming all of the abuse that he had to deal with early in his life, and everything that he had to overcome, all of the grief, the trauma, because it's fucked up. I literally just reading about it, it was fucked up. But that doesn't mean that he's any different from any of these other billionaires. That doesn't mean that just because he wasn't born with a silver spoon and he had to work hard to become a billionaire doesn't mean that he is not a billionaire who's had to do the same shitty billionaire tactics and things to get to his wealth. I could mention him avoiding paying writers and actors and actresses who are part of a union or anything like that, just because he doesn't like to pay the extra money to really employ them. I can mention the way he just cuts corners on his productions just so that he can just keep churning shit out, and he just ignores quality. I can mention a lot of shit, but all it would do is just come back to my main point, is that Tyler Perry is just like every other billionaire. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're white, black, doesn't matter if they're male or female. It really, all that comes down to it is that when you get to that level of money, when you get to that level of just having it all, you normally have had to lose a sense of your humanity, lose a sense of your compassion, and above all else, usually lose a big part of your empathy for you to be able to exist at that point. So that's just my big issue with Tyler Perry. That's my big issue with Jay-Z and probably Rihanna, and that is my big issue with Michael Jordan. I think that they, instead of being looked at as just this shining example of how they overcame it all, they need to be viewed as what happens when you just get too lost in the pursuit of winning at this post-capitalist man's, I was going to use another type of terminology, but I don't even want to go there. It's when you live in that man's world and you just try to play by his game instead of just staying true to your morals and convictions. And I'll just leave off, my big message is that I don't think that you should settle. I don't think that anyone should be just be satisfied having just thousands or just living paycheck to paycheck. I'm not trying to tell you to do that. Go try to work hard and race after some millions. Race after some money that's going to change your family's lives and your family for a couple generations' lives. But don't get so lost in it that you end up just choosing that over everything else. Don't get so caught up in the rat race and with having to be the most successful, the most rich, the most powerful man on earth that you become the type of motherfucker that is going to choose a business deal over your kid's birth. You're going to choose a fucking cutting a corner on a good product over just keeping your customers or the general public safe, or just giving them something healthy. There's a lot of different ways that people who become billionaires, they give up something. They give up a little piece of themselves, a little piece of what makes them not whole, but solid, not a piece of shit. And they ended up giving that up just to get all that money and capital. And that's just what I want to hope that people are going to be able to take away from this, because it ain't worth it. Just stay true to yourself and stay you. All right, everybody. That is all that I have for you. This has been Kinetic Aesthetic. This has been your boy Germ. Hope that you are all having a wonderful start off to your week, and I hope that it continues to be good. Just continue to follow, subscribe, whatever you have to do to stay in tune, to stay up to date on when Kinetic Aesthetic is dropping next. Make sure you go ahead and do that, because we're going to have a lot of great content coming your way. But once again, like I said, it's your boy Germ. Not trying to tell y'all I hate black billionaires. Just remember, they're not so different from any of the other ones. Continue to drink a lot of water. Tell your friends and family you love them. Like I said, this has been your boy Germ. I'm out. Peace.